The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, here I am. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Welcome to the show. I'm Nikki Glaser. I'm in St. Louis. Noah is in Arizona. My mom is here today again. What's
Hello.
up, Julie Glaser?
Hi, Nikki. Thanks for having me.
You want to look at me when you say that? You're just looking.
Hi, Nikki.
My mom's just looking straight forward when she said
Hi,
it.
Nikki. Listen, I can't move. You've got me
yeah, you're a
strapped in
broken
here.
woman. Oh, wait.
I'm a broken woman.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
there.
forgot that you're broken. That you really did look like a broken woman for a second. Like you can only face forward. Does that hurt? Do you
can
just tilt that
only
way?
Move this way.
How are you pain-wise lately?
I'm so much better.
Oh my God, that's such good
Except
news.
for what I did last week.
Oh, well, we'll get to that in a second. But let's bring
Cheers.
in our second guest on the show today. I've been wanting to get him in for a long time. He is a longtime friend of mine. Started out on the St. Louis comedy scene many years after I was on it. But he's to me, always like, you'll always see you as like a youngin' kind of. So
Yeah.
sorry, I'll never like fully respect you.
I totally understand that and can tell. I'm just kidding.
No, he's just he's blossomed into quite a great comedian, actually. And he was always good. That's why I liked you in the beginning, because I just saw, like, I was like, this kid's so fucking funny. He's my mom's favorite comedian. Early when she used to come to my open mic nights, she would always just be like, Bobby Jaycox is the funniest. And I would feel a little tinge of jealousy, you know, that you were taking something from me.
Yeah. Well, my dad liked you more than he liked me. So that, it's like, it just goes back and forth.
That is true.
Yeah,
I remember that.
It's just like when you see him all the time.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's Bobby Jaycox, everyone. Bobby
Hi, everybody.
Jaycox.
Bobby Jaycox.
Thanks for
in the
having
house.
me, Nikki.
I literally just listen to the applause.
Man.
That's so nice.
So nice, everybody.
Our studio audience.
Jaycox is your last name.
Jaycox is my last name.
How many people think your name is Bobby J?
So many people. And people will be like, that's a cool stage name. I'm like, you thought that's what I picked for my stage name?
I think it's
Like,
actually.
Oh, it's a
that
great-
would be good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what your
yeah.
parents picked.
Yes.
Did they have big plans for you?
They did not. They wanted me to do pretty much anything else but this. But now,
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anytime I get like something like good, when I'm like, I'm going on the road with Nikki, or like whenever I first started, that was when they were like, okay, maybe this.
That's
could
what
be
always
something.
happens.
Yeah, it takes a long time for them to understand.
Yes.
And now my mom, just when she wants to talk about stand-up, she'll be like, Bobby, I've been watching more stand-up. And I go, oh, really? She goes, what do you think about Pete Davidson's hair? You like it earlier or not? And I'm like, Mom,
His
that's like the
hair?
last thing I think about with stand-up. She's like, let's talk about comedy. And actually, let's talk about hair.
your
trying to
hair
be
has
part of
grown
it.
out.
Oh, yeah. I grew it out during COVID, and I don't want to cut it. And people are not nice about it. People like, I would hand out like
It's
a
about
business card.
shoulder length.
Yeah, and I'll like show them a picture I had before, like at a club. They'll put up my old photo, and people will look at that and they'll be like, "You look like a model here." And I go, "Thanks." They go, "No, not." But there, you look like a model.
Yeah, like don't take it now. I'm not
Yeah.
giving this to you now.
Yeah.
I hate when people do that.
Yeah, I think I look better with short hair, but I feel better with long hair. Like I like the feeling of it. Like it's just
Interesting.
Fun. It's a fun.
Usually those two kind of go together. The
Yeah.
way you look and the way you feel. We
No.
are so tied together in our society.
Not for this guy.
But
Not for this gal.
Not for this girl. You do have beautiful hair. It's almost
Thank
like you
you.
have the Rachel going on. There's like intentional
Yeah.
layers there. I mean, like, his hair is almost like yours.
I mean,
Yeah.
no, he's got more hair than I do.
Well, here's the problem. I had
Here's
my
the-
ex cut my hair, and so she actually she tried to like do framing around my face. So when I put it up in a ponytail, I look like just like any woman going on a jog. Like I have like these
Yeah.
two like little things that go around my face.
little like framing.
Yeah, she made me look real
pieces.
cute after the breakup. Yeah.
I just read something recently that was like, don't take good pictures of your boyfriend, girls, because he's going to use those on his Tinder profile in 6 months.
It is so true.
My boyfriend would never do that to me. He's almost too conscious of like doing anything. Like we've been together off and on for 9 years, and he's
Yeah.
still like paying respect to his exes before me of like, I don't want to post too much. Like, I just want to make sure they're okay. I'm like, they have kids and families.
He's the
You can
sweetest
post
guy.
about me now.
I love Chris. I love seeing how sweet he is. I love seeing him on the podcast with you. He'll just be sitting there and be like, and Nikki, like how he talks to you is you have like the guy. Like
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
it's-
I mean,
he
like I
really
feel that
cares
way
about
too,
you.
but that's really nice. Yes,
yeah,
he
it's
does.
palpable. People notice it for sure. And
Oh.
he always makes everyone else, like when I show up and see you guys, he always makes me feel included. Like Chris
He's
is
a very
the sweetest.
sweet person.
There's
and
something in that the Convy family. They're all the sweethearts.
Yeah, they're all really nice, and I do like that about him so much, where he makes everyone feel good. He's not like he's never too cool for literally anyone.
No.
If
What
he
was it
ever
like
is, it's just because he's
spending-
tired or something.
What was it like spending Thanksgiving with them, with his family?
Well, we didn't spend Thanksgiving the meal together, but he did come to see. He went to the parade. Like he went to see me sing. Like we spent the night. I haven't like been around him at all because he's been working on Beauty and the Beast, which airs December 15th. Definitely check that out on ABC. And so I haven't seen him at all. But we spent Thanksgiving Eve together. Remember, you were there too, Mom.
I was there.
So his family does this thing at a country club where they rent out a what is it called? Paddle tennis court,
Paddle
which
ball
is like
tennis.
outdoor paddle tennis.
Yeah.
And then there's like a
Paddle
little
tennis.
hut where you have all this, like they had it catered with all this food, and then they had like friends of the family and their family there. And it was nice because I go to that every single year. They do it every year before Thanksgiving night before. But I've never gotten to bring my family before, and it was really fun to bring my family into this and merge the families, because my family's a little bit more out there than the Convies. A little bit more
What do you mean by
brazen. We
that?
just like talk about we say things sometimes that people kind of look at us and go, "Oh, that story was not really appropriate for the set." You know, like we just talk about.
Is that what they talk about? Those Glazers are a little
No, I
bit
think they
more
loved
out
us.
there.
I think that would be a polite way of saying it. We're just a little bit
well,
sillier, but I think we bring a lot of fun to it. It was so fun. I mean,
it was really fun.
You sang a song probably 7 different times to soothe a baby. So Tim, Chris's brother,
the
just had a
baby
baby.
soother is what they
And
call
my mom
me.
has a secret song that she sings, and the baby just is hypnotized by it.
I
and
saw
just
that. It was
suddenly-
insane.
Yeah.
you're
Wait,
powerful.
really?
Yeah, I saw that. And
Yeah,
the
I
baby
put it on
was
my
like-
story.
Oh, you did?
I know you don't look at my Instagram stories,
I
but
can't watch
you were
everything.
on them most of the time, and
I can't
and you're
see
killing
everything.
It. You can't see everything. Literally, you are.
That's true, I'm
you don't have
blind.
the
I have
bright
blind.
glasses to do it.
Exactly.
But you played paddle tennis. You soothed this baby with a song that's called "I Am a Little Dutch Girl. My home is far away."
I fell in love with a rub-a-dub-dub all over
And then we got
USA.
into like the etymology of it, and we're like, where does this song come from? And it was my grandmother's song passed down, and we sang it over and over. And then this other little girl caught onto it and was like, I really like it. She was like 4, and she was like, I love that
It's a
song.
hit.
And then I had to sing it for her a bunch of times, and it was torturous for people to listen to. But then we ate good food. We played paddle tennis. My mom ran into a fence.
I'm very competitive.
Yeah. Thank God you play sports. You
I
were out there
mean-
like holding down the court, literally, for me, because I played once and I was like, that's enough, right? They're like,
Once
you want
was
to
enough.
play again? And I'm like, no, I did once. Aren't you proud that I
was, and
partook?
you're really good, actually.
You kept saying that every time I would do anything.
Every
even
hit she did, I go, oh my God, Nikki.
you are good. And it would like accidentally hit my racket when I would be like looking at something. Like the ball would accidentally hit my
That's
Yeah.
that's a blessing
You're
and,
such a
and
supportive
skill.
mom. Yeah.
And a skill to have that ball come
But
straight
it became
to you.
like it was like I was a child, you know. It
Yeah.
was like, wow, you're really
well, you kind of would
good.
go,
And then your dad's
I
like,
hate
"You're
this
so
game."
beautiful when you paddle."
and,
Nikki."
Yes.
and Nikki,
Yes.
and you're beautiful
Hey,
too.
babe. It was because, hey, babe, exactly. One time we called Dad
Oh.
and he said, hey, babe, and it's been a long running joke.
He's allowed to say, "Hey, babe," isn't he?
It just, Andrew just teased me for it. It just sounded a little bit too, like he was my boyfriend.
Hey, babe.
Even though I've been trying to get Chris to say babe
He doesn't
for
even-
years.
yeah, he does call.
He
me
won't
babe.
call me babe.
Does he not say? I accidentally called my roommate. She's a girl. I called her baby. I go, "Hey, babe." I'm like, "I'm so sorry." Like, I feel like it's a term of phrase that comes
It
out.
just
No,
is.
I say it to
It's
my
an
friend,
endearing.
my
Yeah, yeah.
girlfriends. And if you were on a girlfriend
Yeah.
level with your friend,
yeah,
I
I'd be
think
like, "Hey, what's
babe
up,
is
babe?"
fine.
And I'll say it sometimes or whatever. But why won't he say? Does he think it's like weird?
I think he's just I don't know that he's
Because
actually
his old
given me a
girlfriend was
reason. Oh yeah, he's respecting babe.
Are we calling her a pig? I don't know if that's not like babe, like that babe, or just
Yeah.
any babe. It just-
Yeah, maybe that's
Yeah,
what
he
it
thinks
is.
it's
And
animal
that-
cruelty to what's the word for when you take over something's what do they call it when you wear like dreadlocks as a white person? Appropriating pig culture.
Yes.
So that's why he won't call me babe. But I don't know. I've never really gotten answer. I call him babe, but it won't get
not
lobbed
rubbing
back
off?
at me. It's just too embarrassing to be like, hey, will you call me babe?
Yeah.
You
I
know,
think
like-
he had heard you said this. You've said this already.
Well, loud and clear. Chris, if you're listening, would really like a babe.
And he doesn't listen to the show either.
No, he doesn't, and which makes me feel free, and also like
Yeah.
I don't. I
That's
don't
kind of
expect
why
him to.
I don't listen to the show. all
Oh,
the
don't
time.
make excuses.
Are you kidding?
So I feel free,
I'm
or because you're
free.
just. I mean, I don't expect you to. We used to do it 4 days a week. It's a lot to listen to.
It was,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So it's
But
fine.
now that I've been on it the last couple of times.
I once called Andrew. I've called Andrew babe a couple times because I'm just so used to calling my girlfriends babe.
Yes.
Yeah.
That.
It's
You know,
easy.
it's just to anyone I feel that platonic
It's a good
love
term.
for.
It's a love.
I
Yeah,
say
yeah.
babe, and so it was like it just came out. But it's so weird to call. It is
Yeah.
feels weird to call a guy that because
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that's romantic.
Well, I do tell my guy friends that I love them when I get off the phone. I think it infuriates them.
I heard you
I
on
will-
the way in here.
Oh, well, that was my little brother. I mean, obviously, I love my little brother.
yeah.
I always tell him, but all my
As a
friends
friend,
will be like, yeah, just for right now. yeah, I need to talk to Ed. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I think I like using those terms of endearment, being like, hey, babe, or something, or being like, I love you. My guy friends would be like, okay. And then, you get off the
Yeah.
phone, but I'm like, who knows? Like, I think
I
you have to
love
talk to
those
people like that.
TikToks of guys calling their dads and just being like, just want to say I love you, and just like the dad being like, wait, is everything okay?
Are you in an
Like,
accident?
It's so great.
Yeah.
Men like sharing their feelings more. But it is weird with like female and male friendships. There's just like certain things you can't do that you would do with your girlfriends and vice versa. Like it is going to be different unless you're both gay, I guess.
True.
But I don't think lesbians and gay men really hang out that much. Even
Yeah, I
though you
don't
think they would.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah, but they have like
don't?
they have a lot in common, but yeah.
It's a stereotype for sure that gay men and lesbians don't get along.
Yeah.
But I
in a
think
gay
that
club, isn't it mixed?
No.
and some I've been to
usually-
like one in Minneapolis. There was one I went to where it was like totally like it was
Oh,
mixed.
okay,
But
yeah.
usually it's more like male
Either or.
dominated or female dominated.
Okay.
And then they also hate when like straight people like get like this is
straight-
kind-
what are
yeah,
you
yeah.
people doing here?
We're just
Yeah.
trying not to go to bars where they fight all the time. But like this is like I love anytime we go to a city, I'm like, where's the gay bar? And they're like, oh, I'm like, no, I just like to not have
Get
guys
in
getting
middle
like bump into
fights.
me and be like, you talking to my girl? I'm like, I'm just standing here. Like it happens.
Does that happen a lot?
Oh, not all the time,
your
but
new
guys
hair?
get energy. Yeah. They're like they're like, hey, that girl's hot. Excuse me. Yeah.
That's interesting. Like
Yeah, it's
having
really
to
weird.
navigate, even think about that and navigate. Like when I go places, I do hate fighting, and I hate when something would break out at a bar. But I don't go to bars that often anymore. But
Yeah.
I guess just avoiding conflict because you
Yeah.
get pulled into that stuff quickly.
And it sucks. And once a guy like decides he's in that realm, that's like what's gonna happen. It happens on Thanksgiving. It happens all the time.
Did you go out the night before
party night.
Thanksgiving?
I did go out and just like hang out for like a little bit with some friends and stuff like that.
What's it called again? It's like
Skanksgiving.
Yeah, that's what they call it in St. Louis. I don't know if that's acceptable everywhere. I went into the radio station on Wednesday and everyone's like, Happy Skanksgiving. And I was like, this is the first I've heard that term.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Never.
that is.
I've never heard that.
Well, now you have. So it's the night before Thanksgiving where everyone gets rowdy.
No,
as
I
fuck.
get it.
Yeah.
It's the biggest party night of the year.
Yes, that's right.
Supposedly.
Well, I did not party that hard. So yeah, it was nice to see Chris that night, but then he spent the night that night, and then the next morning I had to wake up at like 5:45 to go do the parade, and I had my mic check at 7:30. So I was like up like curling my hair and putting on like fake eyelashes at like 6 in the morning on Thursday. It was just like a lot, and then drove down there in the rain. It was fucking pouring down rain right before we started.
Oh, no.
And then it let up for the entire parade, and then as soon as the parade was over, started spitting again. It was
Oh, my
awesome.
It was a miracle.
So it was a miracle. But
It really was.
Chris came down. So I was down there from like 7:30 doing the mic check until 9:05 when the parade I guess officially started. But just walking around kind of by myself, like singing to myself. I was walking by the Ferris wheel down there by Union Station, and I was just walking around just like singing at the top of my lungs, like doing vocal warm-ups and looking like a real fool. And people kept coming up to me being like, do you need anything? And I'm just like, stop talking to me.
I'm trying to sing.
I'm literally going, whoa,
Yeah.
like, why would
Do you get
you
nervous
think
before
I
something
want
like
to
that?
talk to you right now
Yeah.
if I'm doing that in the corner? Like,
Yeah.
you think I'm like at a party and no one's talking to me
Yeah.
or something and I'm feeling
well, you
sad?
could look crazy too.
Well, no, it was. But anyway, it was. I was nervous as fuck, dude. I was so nervous. Well, not nervous because here's the thing about I realized, and I've talked about this before. the only thing that I do is I sign up for things. I say I'm going to
you sign
do
up
them.
for so many things.
And then I have to do it. And then
Yeah.
if you want to push yourself to do things that are out of your comfort zone, sign up.
Yeah.
Yes.
For something far away
Yes.
that you can convince yourself you'll be good enough when the time comes. You won't be.
Yes.
Because you're not going to do the preparation you need to do, the preparation that is in your mind. You're like, oh, I have so much time to. You're not going to do it. You won't be ready.
No.
You'll want to cancel the day before, which I wanted to cancel up until a week before. And then I went to a voice lesson. I was like, oh, I kind of got this. And then I went to a voice lesson the day before, on Wednesday, before I went to the racket thing. And I was like, this is bad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm bad. Like, I haven't
Yes.
sang for a week. I was supposed to be practicing. I didn't. And I was like, they need to find someone.
Yeah.
They can find someone
Don't you
else
think
to sing
about?
this
I
thing.
feel like I've said this because I've also been trying to sing and play music on stage. Like I did
Yeah.
it. I ended a show in a theater and I was like, I'm gonna play a song even though no one wants this. And just to do the same thing, I'm like, I'm gonna sign up for it. But I would be way less nervous if I was like, you're gonna go in that room in front of so many people and bomb doing stand up. That makes me less nervous than singing in front of
Yeah, it's
people. Do you
hard
get
to
more
sing.
nervous
No.
when you sing?
Okay, well that's
not at all.
so I get nervous about singing because I felt like I said when I was on The Masked Singer, and we'll get to that in a second, I kind of said that it was great because I didn't everything about myself that was like,
Yeah.
you can't do this. You're a comedian. You're
Yeah.
Nikki Glaser. You're 38. You're like, no one knows of you as a singer. You don't like. If you shed all of that away and you put on a big snowstorm costume, I could be anyone under there. And so
Yeah.
then I can convince myself this is fine and that
Yes.
I should be doing this. I got asked to do the show. The rule of the show is that you're a celebrity that's supposed to be singing. So
Yeah.
everything's like, I have to. It's like my joke
Yes.
about bondage. I like bondage because it like forces you to do the thing that you want to do anyway, which is be lazy. Like it's forced laziness. So this is forcing me to sing. Like this show, it's like, well, I got to do it. That's the rules of the show. But being asked to sing the national anthem, I didn't ask to sing it. I did ask to sing it at the Cardinals game when I did the first pitch, but they didn't let me. So this time they did ask me. I didn't ask them. So I felt, okay, they asked me. I said yes. And then I'm like, singing doesn't make me nervous. I love doing it. I don't ever get nervous while I'm performing, but leading up to it, I was just like, it was just all of the thoughts of this is ridiculous. People at home
Yeah.
are going to be like, why didn't they get someone from
Yeah.
the gospel choir that down the street? Like
Yeah.
there's 1,000 people within a quarter mile of her right now that could sing better than her. Why are we listening to this?
Yes.
Well, the truth is because I'm a comedian, I'm kind of famous.
And
that's
I love
why.
your honesty
And
of
they
being like,
lower
B
the bar.
minus. Like, that's nice to be honest that afterwards you're just like, you're like,
It was a solid B minus. Like
solid B
There's
minus.
no way
Yeah.
that anyone would say that it was.
No.
But for a comedian, it was an A. You
Yeah.
know, like if you consider the
great.
variables,
Yeah.
it was an A for me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as good as I've done in a private room with like coaching and when I'm relaxed.
Yeah.
But standing in the middle of the street with my family just
Everyone's
like literally
staring
8
at you.
feet away from me, and then a big camera on a jib, like following me.
Yeah.
That's the best I could do. And so
Totally.
afterwards, I was just like, oh, good, it's over. And then I'm good to
You
go.
did
Yeah.
fabulous. Oh
My mom was
God.
like crying.
I was sobbing. I couldn't stop the tears coming out of my eyes. I'm like,
because you love America? Like, was the song
No.
touching to you?
I don't
She
even.
bombs
It was,
bursting in air.
it was the
You
bomb.
are the one
The
she
bomb.
loves.
It was so emotional. I just couldn't
Did
even.
you cry when I did like plays in high school? Like,
No, I was always so excited, but I never cried. That was just this big relief or something. It was really,
Julie,
Yeah, it was-
you're
it
so
was
sweet. You were so
weird.
freaking
I was
sweet.
like,
did
I
you
had
hear
to
the
take
word
my-
relief? It's like that she didn't bomb.
Well, of course, it makes you
I
nervous.
knew it the whole time. Remember last week I said my mom is going to be so worried the whole time about
Maybe
those notes.
that was part of it, but it was.
You just said it. You said it was
no,
relief.
no. It
and
was
I'm
a
still
relief
touched
that
by
you
it.
got it. You did it. You
Yes.
did it.
Yes.
And
She
it
wanted
was
to
just
see you do your
emotional.
best. And she was
Yes.
very happy
oh
and
my
proud
God,
to see
I
you.
thought you were fabulous.
No. It was so nice. It was so nice. But I could tell that you were. I could tell Lauren and you were both like, are you like, you're just gonna go do this? Like, it's so weird that it's about to, like, they're like 30 seconds, and you guys are just like, is this really happening? Like, it was weird. Of like, why?
No, it
'cause
was
aired. I
amazing.
didn't think it would air on TV.
Oh, I knew it was
thought
gonna
it was
air.
gonna be
They
like
were
Yeah,
talking
the
about
national
it.
Yeah, it's so important. You're the grand. I've never cared about the Grand Marshal
didn't
until
know
this
what
year.
one was.
I never.
Yeah.
You're just that person that comes by in a like a car.
Yeah.
You're like,
Do they
who
do?
are they?
Well, there's
Yeah.
actually a Grand Marshal. I met him, and I'm the honorary Grand Marshal. So the Grand Marshal is
Oh.
actually a thing that I go,
What?
what do you do? And he goes, I just go to meetings all the time. And I'm like, okay, well, thank you for your service.
And
I
he's
don't know
like,
what that is.
God bless. Like he sings to everybody every time. That's all he did. He's like, thanks
I
for
don't think
taking
that's
one.
the role of the Grand Marshal to sing. I think they just gave me that.
Yeah.
But right
What's the
after
role of the Grand Marshal? It's just
Just
to
to
go to
wave.
meetings and just to go to things and be like,
Somebody's
thanks for
got to be in charge.
I
Thanks
don't
for
know
being
what
grand.
they do actually within the government system, but with parades, you just sit in the back of a car like Kennedy before things went wrong, and you wave to people. And I got to sit with Chris and just like wave to
I
people.
know.
And it was just like a third of a mile.
No, it's 2 miles.
That was 2 miles.
Well, you didn't go 2 miles, but the whole parade is 2 miles.
You dipped out.
no, I
Yeah.
didn't dip out.
Yeah, you dipped out.
She dipped.
Really?
She's
Yeah.
like, hey, make a left up
Why'd
here
they
on
dip?
Arsenal.
You dipped
Why did I dip then?
because you were going to be interviewed up in the.
well, then I went and sat for the interview and waited an hour
I
until they
know.
interviewed me. So I
that
didn't
and that
need to
parade
dip.
was not finished by the time
Oh,
you
I thought
got
it was
interviewed.
finished. Well, you know
No.
what is finished? This segment. We got to go to a commercial. We'll be right back with more after this. All right, we're back. So we talked about the parade. Anything other things we want to say about that? Oh, I did see someone at the parade that I knew from high school, Alex Schwartz. Shout out to him. All of a sudden, I just heard like Nikki, and like I turned, and he sounded much more masculine than that. But I turned, and it was Alex, and I was like, Alex. It was this guy that I like knew very well in high school.
Yes.
We called him Bona for some reason, not because he got bonas, but we were just like Bona. We just always used to call him Bona. I
Why?
don't know why. He does. There's no
Kirsten
reason.
made that
He
up.
didn't get bonas. There was nothing about like we just called him Bona, Bonah. And so I saw him and he looked amazing. Like I was so proud of myself to identify
Yeah.
him because he looked I mean, this is 20 years after. He looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I was like, Alex, are you going on Saturday? Because my 20-year reunion was Saturday. And this was on, this is Thanksgiving Day. And I go, are you going on Saturday? And he's like, nah, I don't know. And he's there with his family. And I was like, you gotta go. You look great. You gotta show that off. Like, I was like, trying, because
Yeah.
everyone doesn't want to go to their 20-year because they don't
No.
look like they want to. They
Yes.
aren't in a place in life where they should be. And I'm shocked to say he did show up. I
Good.
bullied him into going, and he did go, and I'm
Yes.
so glad. And I think he
Was
had
he not
fun.
going to go if you didn't say anything? Was he going to
He
not?
said no, he was not going to go. For sure. I thought
Good
for sure
for
he
you.
wasn't going to go.
It's good.
So
He needs encouragement
even
to go. 'cause
after I
it's
yelled at him.
Especially 10-year, I think is dumb. We have Facebook and stuff, but 20-year, I'm so excited to hear about. Did you see anybody that you were like, you were so mean to me in high school? Like, did you see anybody that you got like that you did not gloat,
No
but you
one
got
was
to be
really
a little bit like
mean to me in
doing
high
pretty good.
school.
That's
It
cool.
was someone. Louisa Lang wrote to me and was like, because she's a comedian in New York, younger comic, really funny, and she saw me like post of me standing next to the 20-year reunion sign, and she was like, this is my life goal, is to go back to my 20-year reunion as a famous comedian. She was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I was like, it was pretty great. I really appreciate where I am in life, and like I'm proud of myself and all my accomplishments, but there is something about that night that I wanted it not to be a thing.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to not feel like she's here, or
Yeah.
like I didn't want to talk about myself. I didn't want it to be a big deal. I just wanted to be
I feel the
normal
same.
that
Like, I
night.
love being on stage, but as soon as you're off, like you like talking to people, but I would not want everyone to swarm around.
Yeah.
I don't know how. It's just different. Though.
I totally feel the same way.
Yeah, it's very
I
weird.
used to always not think that way because I used to like desperately want to be
Yeah.
famous and have people go, "Is that Nikki Glaser?" Like that was
Yes.
my dream in high school, and
But then
it
once you
just-
get it, you can kind of tone it down, like in the real world. Like you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
can turn it on stage, and then afterwards, you're like, I don't have to bother.
people think
everybody.
that they don't know, because I wouldn't know either, but people are always like, you must get recognized everywhere, like it must be a lot for you, because I'm fairly recognizable now.
Yes.
Like I've done enough stuff where it happens, and I think people recognize me more than I know that they do, because they don't always say something. But I love that I do not walk around being like, oh my god, people know who I am. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Today I walked into Starbucks. I spilled. I went to Starbucks to journal this morning. I got my venti latte extra hot. I put it on the table. I sat down. My leg bumped it, and the entire thing, venti extra hot, the entire latte spilled on my lap. These pants too. They're in good shape. Even the flowers didn't get coffee.
Wow.
Scalded my legs, and I'm just like. And all these people are looking at me, and there was not one part of me that was like, they're gonna think Nikki Glaser. Like,
No.
it was just like I was just a dumb girl,
Yeah.
I think that I would have thought that at this level, I would always be thinking people know who I am.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah, yeah.
scream?
But I don't think about that at all. Yeah, apologies. I kept it, and she goes, seriously, stop apologizing. It happens all the time. And I'm like, I know, but I'm apologizing for the people that don't apologize. Like, this is really annoying, and you are already busy enough here. And I have so much empathy for Starbucks workers because I read on Reddit like how poorly they're treated by customers.
Oh yeah. My aunt one time like bragged. She goes, "I was so mean to this lady at Starbucks." I'm like, "Why is that cool?" She was like, "Because she was so rude." I go, "I bet she wasn't. I bet she wasn't." And some people, it's disgusting. It's really gross.
Is your aunt trouble? Karen?
Kind of trouble. Yeah, she's a Karen for sure. We could talk. Yeah, she is definitely a Karen. Absolutely.
Have you seen her lay it down?
Yeah, she lays it down in front of she yells at she's like someone who yells at everybody. And then once I turned 30, she yelled at me once and I like pulled her aside. I go, "Hey, just so you know, I am a full-fledged adult and I would never talk to you or your kids when they grow up like that. So don't do that." And she goes, "Got it." And then one time she like texted me something and I was like, "I'm just going to ignore that." Yeah, I have a couple Karens in my family
before from like people that you go, "Oh, I used to like, just like the family stuff where you're like your aunts or something take a tone with you.
You
and
should
you go,
think about it like this." And I'm like, I don't.
And I used to be scared of my aunts. Let me just say, I'm like, I revere my aunts. I look up to them. I love them. But now if I get any kind of tood from family, I'm just like, you're just a person to me, man.
Yes.
Like I don't really subscribe to like, but their blood. It's like, I could have been
Blood's thicker than
adopted
water.
then,
I
and then
think
would
it's
you still
dumb.
say blood?
Yes. No.
Like,
yes.
It's just you. I think I'm not. My parents are definitely not on board, and I'm not saying about any. I love all my family. I have no beef with literally any of them. I'm very lucky about that. But there are times where I'm like, you have to go see them. That you're there in town. I'm like, no, I don't, because I literally don't. This person, I don't see them except once every 10 years, and just because I'm in their town, I have to go waste my time. Going to see them.
Yes.
And
isn't it crazy? Well, here's
their blood, Nikki.
Their blood, Nikki. And this is literally what she did. She came up to me one day, and this was a while ago, but she was like, "Bobbie, I saw these people, and they were at a pro-choice rally," and she was like crying, and I was like, "Oh my God." And she was like, "I just can't believe what they do to baby." And I was like, "Okay." And then she literally, that's when she went to the Starbucks. She goes, "And then I went in there and yelled," and I literally go, "That used to be a baby." I was like, you can't just like want babies to be here and then yell at the people that are here. Like she's a future baby. Like it's crazy. She's like that where she doesn't see both sides. And I would tell her that and she'd be like, "I just don't see it that way." And you're like, that's crazy. Like to not have empathy for people like in the world working for you.
Well, that's the easiest answer. I just don't see it that way. That's just the answer. It's like, that's not a good enough answer. I just see it that way.
Agree to disagree, that kind of thing.
Please, let's finish this.
But the Sarah Silverman had a joke about people who are pro-life and how they get so upset about like little girls, especially. You see little kids on the picket line, their parents have brought them there and they're like screaming like, "Don't kill these babies." They literally think babies are being murdered in there. Like fetuses are just being stabbed in the eyeballs. No. And so of course these little girls are going to be like, "They're killing babies." Like you would be fucking traumatized if you thought that. So it sounds like your aunt kind of has a misconception about what it is. Yeah. And so because if she's able to elicit tears over the lives of these, then she obviously thinks something horrible is happening in there.
Yes, but then not crying about yelling at a person in real life.
Well, that's crazy. The thing is like, because people like your aunt, no offense to your aunt, but also offense, come at me, bitch, is that you think you're better than the Starbucks employee. You think that you made different decisions in life that didn't make you. I can talk down to wait staff because I'm not a waiter. Why aren't you a waiter? Oh, because I worked hard in life and I didn't. You think somehow you're smarter or better. You didn't choose your brain. You didn't choose your parents. You didn't choose the world, the city in which you were born. You didn't choose any of it. No. You got lucky. So for you to think you're better than anyone, if you were that woman at Starbucks and born into her life with her brain and her parents, you would be in the same position and you'd be getting yelled at by someone like you. So I have empathy for even you, Aunt Crazy, who
that's what I'm gonna call
can't contain your anger. And I have empathy for you. You didn't choose your insane brain that thinks you're better than people. Yeah. And you didn't choose to be a person with a brain that is so closed off to the idea that you you are the same as everyone, and that you're just lucky that you don't have to maybe take a job that you wouldn't want to take, or that you're not a drug addict, or you're not homeless. You're lucky. You're not better. You're not smarter, and you might be smarter, but you're lucky that you're smarter. You're lucky you were born with a brain that has the ability to maybe not have a learning disability in school and study harder, and but anyone who thinks they're better than homeless people, or if I was in that, I wouldn't do that. Yes, you would.
100%.
You do everything they did if you had the same brain as them. You just got lucky with yours, bitch.
100%, Nick.
Right?
Aunt Crazy, are you watching
Aunt
this? I bet she's still like, I don't. Nikki,
no, you can't
I'm like,
get through
you'll never
them.
talk. You can't. It's crazy, and that's I've
this
definitely
will cause so
stopped
much
fighting.
drama in your family. This will get back to Aunt Crazy.
No, no, it won't. They could not support me. No, I'm just kidding. No, they will.
That's what you think.
She'll think when she thinks I'm talking about her. All I have to do is be like, no, I was talking about this one. She'll be like, she's the bad one, right? Like
even now, when you say that, you're gonna be like, even when I said that, it was talking about someone else. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't care.
But it's funny, even when you think your family is tapped out and have no interest in your life, the times where you think you're going to be doing something and no one will hear it, and you go, they don't even listen to, they don't care about anything I do. They'll hear that one.
Yeah.
That will get back to them.
Yeah.
So always beware as
I appreciate
you get,
that.
because I always get that in my head of like, I can say this. I know they don't listen to this.
Yes.
No, I don't even use their name. No one will know it's them to tell them. It gets back to them.
Always.
Because someone hears it and then goes, I heard this. And then someone tells someone, yes?
Maybe Aunt Crazy can go see Bobbie open for you on the Good Girl Tour.
Oh yeah, would she ever support your comedy tour?
She does. She has come out to see me before.
Oh,
she
that's
has.
nice.
She has come out to see me.
I don't
before.
need her at our shows.
She's not the worst. She's a
but-
good person. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, she's not the worst person. She just like there are moments where you see her be like, I'm like, but you can't talk her off the ledge. But if she told me something, I'd be like, I guess I could try to understand that or whatever. But you tell her something, she's just like, no. That's how that whole side of the family is. They can all watch.
That's why I love doing comedy, because those people have to shut the fuck up when they get kicked out.
And they're like, please don't talk about me on stage. And I'm like, well, didn't be different.
It is funny. People like that don't want to be told what's what. They're the ones that like walk out of shows or heckle, and they don't. That's the best place for them, because they just have to shut their trap.
I sold out a show at Helium, and I told her to get tickets. I go, it's gonna sell out, and she goes, okay, I'll get them. It's sold out, and she called up, and she's like, I kept telling them I'm your aunt, and they didn't care. I go, yeah, they don't care at all. This isn't my communion. Who I am. Yeah.
I'm just a name on their paper.
Oh my God! They go, who are you?
Yeah. How many times have you walked into your own show and been like, "Excuse me, sir, you can't just walk in." You go, "My face is on the thing."
Yes,
it happens all the time.
Yes,
I remember a very famous comedian that people know that I don't care for. She once walked into a show that had her name on the poster. It was like at an improv or something.
Yes,
and the guy was like, "Excuse me, ma'am, you can," and she goes, sorry, look at the fucking post," and she got so mad, and she had him fired. Anytime anyone doesn't recognize me, I walk into theaters sometimes backstage and people are like, "Ma'am, you can't come back." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm on the show. Sorry. This is my face. I know I look like Faces of Meth right now, and I don't have makeup
When I opened up for Dave Chappelle at the pageant, this was years ago, I was walking back, and afterwards they were like, if you want, you can go say hi to him. And I guess there was a bouncer at the door that I walked in. I was like, "Hey, Dave." And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I go, "I was just on stage. Like, I was on the show."
Yeah,
like, it was
but no one pays attention
and that's why,
to openers.
And
no
that's what I'm saying. No. And I could not have cared anymore at all.
Yeah,
for sure.
You don't take it personally. Was Dave nice to you?
Unbelievably nice.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
He was very, very nice to me. Like, I walked in the room, and he remembered me, and he was like, he came over and he was like, "How's it going, man?"
Were you doing this hair because he thought maybe you were transitioning? he might not have been as nice. Actually, no. He's I think he's nice to trans people in person. Yeah. He just has judgments about them on stage.
He is. That's what I say. I was like, I like Chappelle, and they're like, I'm like, I like his stand up. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that I like.
I disagree with Chappelle. That's the
thing.
You
can disagree with people for
of
sure.
Course. If you come to my show, which is the Good Girl Tour is happening now, I'm in Memphis this Friday. Please, I just put out a video on my Instagram about my Memphis show. The ticket sales are low as hell, and so and I'm not afraid to admit that. People are like, "You're going to admit that?" And I'm like, yeah, I don't care that I'm not selling well in Memphis. I mean, I would like to sell better.
Yes.
I'm selling well literally everywhere else. So it's not like an ego thing. I could admit, hey, we need to get more people, because people don't know. Yeah. People would come out. They just don't know. The marketing hasn't been good enough. So I released a song today about Memphis on Instagram, trying to get my ticket sales up. So Memphis is the one I'm really wanting you to go to. If you live around there, if you know anyone there, please come out to the show. It's going to be very special, because it might be just 20 people. And then a very intimate evening. And then also we have next week in Bobby Jaycox will be opening for me in Waterloo, New York on next Thursday. And then on Friday, I will be in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And Saturday, I will be in Atlantic City.
I'm so
excited.
excited.
We will be doing those 3 dates together along with Anya Marina on the Good Girl Tour. So those are all dates you can check out now. And then I'm doing New Year's Eve in St. Louis, Missouri. And that's going to be good, too, at the Stiefel.
Have you performed there?
No, I've never even been there.
I did a guest spot opening for Brian Regan there, and it was the first time where you were like, I came out, and even the pageant's big, but you come out there and you're like, wow, like it's
really,
it's
Ooh,
beautiful.
okay.
It's just
Fill
beautiful.
that bitch up,
It's just beautiful.
Inside and out.
It is beautiful
We
on the outside.
passed
It looks
it
like
on
a
the
courthouse.
Yeah.
Through the parade, and I'm like,
Greek courthouse.
that's where Nikki's gonna perform.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's
and
incredible.
It's
so big. It's
the
so
old
nice.
opera house.
Someone the other day was like, I looked up your tickets. They're expensive. And I was like, I know, I'm sorry. Like, I'm embarrassed. I'm not like Taylor Swift and out
But how
here,
many years did you go without making that much money? I remember when we did Kansas City, you would walk from the hotel across like 2 parking lots to the show. You're like with all those, you know what I'm saying? Like you would
still walk a couple parking lots.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm like, I feel like now it's like you do all that work, so now it's like you get to like
The
reap
reason
benefits.
tickets are so much is because fucking Ticketmaster, you guys, and all the other, like, everyone that has to be paid, the guys working the lights, the guys working the sound, like it's not just me. Believe me, I'm not walking away with as much as you think I am at the end of the day. I have openers, I have agents, I have managers, like, you really get to the nitty gritty of it, and that's why I have to work so much, is because it seems like and I'm not complaining. I'm very fortunate and grateful for the money that I make, but you spend a lot of money to make it. I mean, I've told people before, a publicist that you hire, it's like $6,000 a month now. And then people to do your social media, to run your social media, make clips for you and stuff, that can run you, $3 or $4 grand a month, easy.
I'm gonna become a publicist. That's
crazy.
And it's
crazy.
It's a flat rate too. So if you want a publicist, it's gonna be like, I think it's like, it used to be 3 back in like 2013. I think it's 6 now, 5 or 6. And it is Brad Pitt pays $5,000, you pay $5,000. At any level, it's a flat. It's the only thing I know of that is a flat rate
across the board. Yeah, that's wild. I had no idea it'd be that much. I had no idea.
It's a lot.
And look at the Stiefel. That's a huge place. They got to heat that place and keep the lights on.
They got to heat it. Except my shows, bring your parka up, because ticket sales, we're gonna chop off some dollars, but it's gonna be a freezing night of comedy
over in Memphis.
But so Memphis. But anyway, my 20-year reunion was so freaking fun, and it was just, there wasn't anyone I would say that I was like, oh my, I had no enemies in high school, really.
Yeah.
It was more like,
did you ever have you didn't have bullies, or you didn't have anyone who was like mean to you or anything like that?
I mean, it was in like 4th grade. I had bullies,
okay.
and then that kind of like went away as soon as I got my own friends, and I never had bullies after that. I was very lucky. But I did have people that I was super jealous of, and like there was one girl I think that I had talked about on my Instagram when I was living during COVID at home in St. Louis. And I had my yearbooks, and one night I was just going through them on my Instagram stories, and there was one girl I was like, I wanted to be her. Everyone wanted to be her. She was the most popular girl. She's so hot. And it got through the grapevine to me, like through texting, that was like, she's fucking pissed. Take her off your Instagram story. I'm like, I didn't say anything bad. I just said she was hot, and we all wanted to be her. And like, look how pretty she is.
Was she
so I was
there?
kind of scared if she showed up. No, thank God. I thought I saw her, and I like freaked out. And I was like, why am I scared? I didn't do anything wrong.
Yes.
I took it down as soon as I heard she didn't like it. So it wasn't like, but I felt really scared that she was like mad at me. And I felt like, I know that I've said so much about popular kids over the years in different things. And I know the way this works, where it's like, the one thing you've said about someone will get back to them. And I've been at this for 20 years. So I have said, I probably name dropped all of those people at times, either saying they were so hot, or like I hated them secretly, wanted to be them, liked them, whatever it was. Guys like had crushes on them. So every single person I knew had heard some podcast clip where I've said their name or their friend's name or something. So there was that kind of, it was funny because like the popular kids were still kind of hanging with each other, and there were still cliques in the room.
Always.
At Hacienda Mexican restaurant on Manchester Road, near Rock Hill. And it was weird because I felt like, this is going to come back to bite me, but I guess I don't have another reunion for another 5 years or something. So I will say that there was certain people, everyone knew that I am a person that's on TV now. I think so. It would be hard in the 20 years.
Especially after The Masked Singer.
18 years.
Yes.
Yeah, Masked Singer. Masked Singer, yeah, it already aired too, yes. So that was like, well, there was just like so, I'm sounding already, I'm like picturing people rolling their eyes at me saying this, but there's just no way you don't know me.
Someone from your high school that has been mega in the roast, like doing so many things from your
I'm just
school.
saying, like, you might not have known me in high school, and if I showed up and I just was like, you know, a normal lady that had a normal job, you might go, oh, I don't remember you from high school.
Yes.
But you've since jogged your memory and been like, that's Nikki Glaser. She was in my graduating class. There's just no way that they don't know that.
Of course.
And I will say, and they even knew me in high school. I mean, these people... And they just didn't want to look at me. I kept trying to make, you make eye contact across the room and then you wave and then you cross the room to talk to each other. That's kind of how it goes. Yeah. Instead of just like going up to each other. So I would try to make eye contact and I was getting nothing from
like just
a
people
big
looking
group
away
of
from
people.
You? Yeah.
And I kept saying to my friend Taylor who went with me, I'm like, it's so weird. Like the popular kids are kind of like acting like
they don't know you.
Like I keep trying to make eye contact with them, and it's like they haven't even looked at me once. And it's not like
how weird.
But then I realize it's because they are trying to be cool.
Still.
They're trying to act like they don't care.
Yes.
Which I probably would have done too. Like I
Yes.
want to either they want to make me feel comfortable, like I don't need to make a big deal of it, or she already thinks she's such a big deal, so I'm not going to give her anything because she thinks she's such fucking hot shit, even though I didn't at all. But they don't know that, and maybe I do, and maybe I'm just subconsciously I do think I'm hot. I don't know, but I just could tell that like, but I knew what it was like to see anyone else, and they'd be like, hey, and like make eye contact. Like it was happening all over the place, but there was a certain popular crew. I only didn't talk to 2 people there the whole night and didn't talk to them at all or even like wave across the room. Really that I know knew me and knew me. There were some people I didn't talk to because I just didn't know them at all.
Yeah.
There were only 2 people and I swear to God, they like the guy would be like walking towards me like towards a group that I was with and then see me and then just like turn around on a dime. And I was like, this person has not changed since 7th grade. He still has the same energy as he did in 7th grade. When I
wild.
He hasn't. It hadn't changed at all. And then there were other people that were like so nice and so cool.
Yeah.
There's a couple people that are so hot. that
Really?
It's so funny because you still get like nervous around the same guys.
Yeah.
Where you're like,
I was
hot
going
girl
to
from
ask
high school still if I
crushes
see her, I'm
were
like,
there.
hey. Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
It never leaves you. High school is always kind of with you.
It doesn't leave you. No.
That's what I've said growing up. I'm always like, I thought when you were done with high school it was done, but it always kind of keeps coming back, whether it's cliques or
Everything's high school.
Like if we were going
The rest
through
of
my
your
yearbook
life,
the other day and my buddy was like, do you remember? I was like, how could you forget? Like, yeah, we all still remember the cute people or all that stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
I still remember too, and some of them are looking real good still.
Did Chris go with you? You're like, hey, Chris,
no,
you might want to stay home.
I wish he would have gone with me. It would have been nice to have that handsome gent on my arm.
Oh, he's so hot.
Yeah, I would have loved for him to be there, but Taylor was my date, and she was in the grade above me, so it was kind of fun to have her there. I'm glad someone went with me. I would have gone alone, but Taylor came through and came home from her trip early to go with me, and
But you know, these people that don't come up to you, maybe they feel insecure.
Of course they do. Yeah,
it's not that
As
they
do
think
I.
you're too cool. I think give them the
but-
benefit.
Yeah,
of
because you don't put off that vibe. I've never seen you in a room put off that vibe where you're like, I'm too cool, like ever since I've known you. Truly.
Yeah, well, that's very nice of you.
Yeah.
But I think that sometimes I can even think. Even me saying this, I think those people thought they were too cool. When my mom's like, maybe they were insecure. I hadn't even considered that, and they might think the same about me. She thinks she's really cool, even though I'm insecure, or like I was in the corner in a booth, and they were probably like, she's over there, just being like, come to me. But I'm really like, I just want to pound this impossible burger meat into my head.
Yeah, I think you're having empathy, but I do think sometimes there are people that don't change, and sometimes if you remember them from high school, and if they're putting off that same vibe, sometimes maybe they're just trying to be too cool. But I think also maybe that's just who they are.
Yeah, they were. There was kidness going on a little bit from just a couple people that were like, "Kid," but then there were. It was nice. I was really mad that so many people didn't come that should have. So it was a good turnout, but it wasn't a great turnout, and it was.
How many people were in your high school at Kirkwood? How many people were in your graduating
probably
class?
like 500 and something.
Okay.
Everyone, and I'm not joking you. Everyone has 3 kids. Everyone. 3 children. I'm not joking you. You either have no children, which was maybe me, like there was one other person, PH Balance. Shout out to you. His name's Paul Holleran, but we called him PH Balance back in high school. PH Balance and his wife, they have no kids. I have no kids. I think Rob Eiselhart has no kids, but everyone else, not one kid, not two kids, 3 kids.
Oh my God.
And it's like, and they all say the same thing.
It's a lot.
I couldn't imagine.
That's what I said to all of them.
That third child, I know they don't like that though.
I have so much
sympathy.
I was like, I think you should board planes before veterans. Like you got, and they do sometimes.
And
they do.
Yeah.
Thank you for your cervix. Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
but no, people have 2 and they're like, oh my God, I want another one of these.
Don't have.
But then their life changes because the third child adds a new dimension.
Oh my God.
It's like you can't
because you can't focus on the other 2 that are beating each other up because they're so
that
close
too.
in age.
And you
got to
buy a bigger car because they.
Oh yeah, you need more.
But you can't go to restaurants.
And then your
because
got
they
gets
only
stolen
have 4
twice.
Tops, and you have to wait longer.
My sister's car got
I'm getting
stolen
stressed
twice.
just talking about this.
No,
this is
it's
crazy.
really-
Well, I saw this weekend on Thanksgiving, speaking of like family, I spent it with my sister, brother-in-law, and their 3 kids, and then my parents. Right after the parade, which ended at 11, I went over to my parents' house at noon, and then all the kids were over there. And we were there from noon until 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So 10 hours.
Well,
the
no,
kids
they
did not
spent the
take
night.
Well, I left at 10, I guess. They did not take naps. So this is 10 hours of 3 kids. You know, Forrest is 1,
go.
Poppy's 3, Arlo is 4 or 5? 4?
He's 5.
5. Okay. News to me. And he's been 5 for a while, since April. But it was chaos.
Yeah.
It was, and they're my mom, dad, me, Lauren, and Matt, and there were 5 people to take care of these 3 kids, and it was still like so overwhelming. It never ends. My mom gave Arlo a gun. My mom gave
It was
Arlo
a gun
a
that
toy
shoots
gun.
Like an AK?
dinosaurs.
Like,
So it came with a dinosaur.
It came with a dinosaur.
And the gun, it's like a big orange gun, but it looks like
No, it's a little pistol.
It looks like a little pistol, but it's substantial. It's the size of a pistol, and it goes whoosh, whoosh, like it has a sound effect.
Big mistake.
He was shooting me like in the head,
temple.
constantly like putting it up to my temple and just being like, "You're dead." And like it was so crazy.
That gun
did you play with
is
them, though?
gone.
Yeah.
The gun is gone. We did a buyback program with
my
Toys R
God.
Us. No, it was a little bit like we kept telling him like you can't
I've never
shoot
seen
at
that
people.
side of
He
him
could
with
not-
a gun. So
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
why did I do
Arlo's
this?
going
when you're a
through
little
a
boy with a
phase.
gun, you can't. It's like
He can't-
when you shoot
Yeah,
each
to tell
other,
people
you
not to
can't
shoot
get
people?
over it. Yeah.
No, he wants to
impossible.
stab. He likes
No.
blood, stabbing. All these things are coming out of
Oh
his
my god,
brain.
he draws pictures. We were drawing together, and all he draws is knives, and then people with X's for eyes. He's 5, and he's
and
not
blood. There's a lot of blood too.
a lot of blood.
A lot of red
There's-
crayons.
What?
A lot of
There's-
crayons.
What?
Yeah.
I never did that. That's
Dude.
like some movie. That's like some Damien Omen. That's crazy.
But he's not like a really like dark child. Like he's not like a kid that like he's like always lighthearted about it. He's like, and then there's blood, and then they all die, and then they're dead. Like he kind of
well,
like
that's
loves.
fine.
He's like happy about it. It's not like
Yeah.
and he doesn't understand what it all means. I don't know where it came
No,
from.
he doesn't.
But at the end of the night, so we get to Thanksgiving dinner, and by the way, he like my mom sets the table and like puts out the food, and he's like, "This is all disgusting to me." Like, what did he say? My mom goes, I just heard my mom go, "Well, that hurts my feelings, Arlo."
Oh, did I?
Oh my god,
Oh,
it's
he
so
says
cute when
the-
kids are like that. When
Yeah.
they're like dark. I saw a TikTok
I'm
of
not
a little
eating
girl
any
going,
of this, he
Yeah.
says. I'm like, oh, that's fine. I don't give it.
Oh, that little girl that was like, "Cause I'm evil."
No, oh that one too. But there's this
funny.
little girl. She's like, and she's sitting there. She goes, "What did you say?" She goes, "Kill me." She goes, "What?" She goes, "Just kill me like that move." And you're like, "What?" But it's just like funny because they're like practicing talk. They don't even know what they're saying.
No,
Same thing
they
with a gun.
don't.
They're like,
Yeah.
they're just coloring. They're doing all
And
that
then
stuff.
we laugh, and then they keep
Yeah,
doing it.
that's
Yes.
the problem.
And I can't stop laughing
can't
when all
either.
he's drawing. And I keep going, "Is that a Christmas tree?" And he's like, "No, it's a knife." He like keeps drawing these things that the knives get bigger so they look like Christmas trees and they have the handle at the bottom. And I was like, "Oh, that's gotta be a Christmas tree." He's like, "No, there's blood at the top of it."
Oh
I'm like,
my
"That's tinsel." But he so then we're going around the table playing like as we're eating Thanksgiving, like not before we ate, but after as we're like eating, like, "What are you thankful for?" And we all go around, and then it gets to Arlo, and he said, and I wrote it down in my phone, he said, "I'm thankful for dead persons in jail." And then he goes, "And mommy." But he's thankful for dead persons in jail, which doesn't make any sense.
No
but,
sense.
Dahmer, I guess.
Yeah, I was
he was a big
Epstein,
Dahmer fan.
maybe.
And
Yeah.
Epstein, yeah. And soon to be, what's her name?
Giselle, who just
Ghislaine. Yeah, so Thanksgiving, but I did write Chris on Thanksgiving, and I said, I know that I don't want kids.
Yeah.
We haven't had to have there's not a single conversation that has been able to take place that has gone anywhere past
I'm the same.
the introductory stage.
Yeah, I'm not placating to that. I literally I would wish my brother. I'm like, I'll be an uncle. Like that'll be tight. Like, don't you love being an aunt? Like, I feel like that's
Barely.
fun. Barely, yeah.
Even that is a lot of work. No, I do love it.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It's so stressful.
But it's
seems
stressful if you're not used to it.
I'm going to turn into Aunt Crazy.
You're not used to it. Yeah, Nikki comes over and she goes, "Oh my God."
I go, Mom, why would you want this for me? Because my mom's always like, just freeze your eggs. And I go, why would you want this for me? Why would you want me to even put this on? Like, because I know that they bring a lot of joy. I mean, they bring so much joy to my life and to my sisters. And it's all going to pay off when they become like tiny adults and they start like being able to take care of themselves. It all pays off. But I do not want to give away 10 years of my life.
No.
And I know that, and talking to all
10.
Well, 10 years of like when it's really
18.
I know, but
they're not done it. I thought it was just
it's
10.
22 because you throw college in there.
Honestly, in the world we live in now, it's like 33. Like I feel like, you know what I mean? I feel like everyone's.
So do you think that I should have kids? Do you think based on
I think that maybe if you froze your eggs, I mean, maybe you would consider it later, or you'd want to.
But why would I want that later? Why do you think? Do you think I'm gonna get to a place where I'm gonna want it?
Well, you may marry someone who wants children desperately.
Nikki, you're not going to like this, but what about like last week or the week before you were talking about what a great time you had in Santa Barbara with your mom and going to the hotel, having your parents there for the Masked Singer, all those experiences that you have with your parents more in like adult age. What about that? Forget about like the,
Yeah, if I could have an adult child, I would. I don't, I'm not kidding you. If I could skip the childhood and we could start at 10, which I know you could, but like, it's not the same. Adopting a 10-year-old, you're not going to get the same bond that you have if you have them so I'm sacrificing all those things that are good later on because I don't want to give up the first 10 years. Like if I could get a 10, I think that's the age that I start to like really think kids are cool is like 10.
And all my friends who have kids, they're like, it's so good. Dylan, sit down. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? They're like, it's I can't even imagine. Dylan, are you kidding me right now? Like, it's just insane.
It is like that.
It's insane. You know what I mean? So I get that there's both sides. I bet it is beautiful, but is sleeping
everyone was just
in.
at the reunion to avoid being with their kids. Most of them were like, I didn't want to come, but it was an excuse to get out of the house.
But our Lauren never complains about.
Never ever complains,
and neither does Matt.
Her and Matt seem so chill.
Well, they're very chill, but they just don't.
I would complain all the time. If I would.
I probably
because
would
I always say to her, like, I know this is what you signed up for. Because she kind of goes, "This is, I'm not going to complain about what I signed up for. I'm not going to be one of those moms." But you're allowed to. Like, it's not exactly what you signed up for. You didn't know it was going to be this hard.
They're
at times.
so patient. Oh my gosh.
But I just think
you probably would feel like you wouldn't have that patience in you.
I just really like my life. I like being able to do what I want to do, and maybe it's selfish, but I already feel very stunted in terms of like learning that I like to play guitar and like I like to sing and that I like, I have so much more I want to accomplish in life, and kids take you out for many years where you can't get stuff done. And I know that there are people that can. I know I wouldn't. I don't have enough bandwidth to get it all done.
I love
would end
that
up feeling guilty.
That. I love
and
that.
I like napping. I like, I like watching Veep all day. I like doing nothing. And it's selfish because I do know I am going to miss out when you guys are gone. When my parents are gone, that's when you go, I wish I had something else, but I'm going to get birds. And I think that and I know that sounds ridiculous, but birds, you can't.
We're going to be replaced by birds.
Well, birds, I mean,
birds
human
can't
race.
replace a Julie. Yeah. Yeah.
But
what kind of a bird?
I like parrots and stuff. Like, I really love parrots. And I really want them, and I just feel like I'm wasting my life not having them. Like, I'm going to at some point go, every day that you had no bird in your life was a waste of your life because it's like the happiest that it can make me. And so I feel like I can't do kids, and birds are a huge responsibility. Also something that takes a lot of time and a lot of like effort.
Yeah, it's not 18 years. It's like 102 years.
Yeah,
it's like they live so long.
They live much longer than humans.
Yeah.
But you can leave and you can go on a trip.
So I can't wait for my Santa
Yeah.
Barbara trip with my birds someday.
Yeah.
I'll get the same thing out of that, and they'll come. I'll watch them on the Masked Squawker.
Maybe you could start a bird sanctuary in Santa Barbara.
There you go.
Would you go on stage with like it on your shoulder, like be
I
like
think it
that?
would be too distracting, but I think people could get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
if he
yeah,
says
I
a
probably
couple
would.
punchlines for you.
Yeah, I think I would have it because I brought Marion on stage before, my dogs, and people at first are like, "You got to make jokes about it," but then they just get relaxed because the dog's just like. And it's just something because when you're on stage talking for so long, you want to give people something to look at.
Yeah.
Because they get kind of bored. There's not a lot to look at. It's just someone monologizing on stage. So I like to wear like outfits where people can kind of like dissect the outfit because I know that they're gonna fucking tune me out at some point. You know. So a bird on my shoulder, hell yeah, I'd bring a bird on stage. We'll take a quick break and get right back to the show right after this. We're back. Yeah. So the reunion was great and. What else happened? And I decided I don't want kids because everyone has 3 kids and everyone seemed to be burdened by that. And they all said that like the 3rd kid was a mistake.
Yeah.
No one says
both
those
like
words.
a mistake in like we shouldn't have done this and a mistake of like it didn't mean we didn't mean for this to happen. And I go, have you never heard of a schmorshman? But I guess
what?
Sorry,
Aunt Crazy.
People can't.
oh, that.
Yeah, that thing that you can do. But people just go. People do that all the time. They go, we didn't want her, but it was a mistake. And I go, are we living?
That is pretty interesting.
In
people, who have
South,
children,
in
they're
the
like
1700s. What's happening?
I'm gonna just have to. I guess I have to keep this one.
Yeah.
I sometimes just go like, do you not know about the options that
people
you have?
don't think like that,
but they don't. No, I mean,
they're like, this is. Look at my other 2 beauties.
I have a lot of friends who are pro-choice and are still like, I would never ever do that. And I gotta say. I don't think it would be a big issue for me to do. It's not something I want to do. I've never had to do it, thank God. But I don't think it would be something for me that I would. And I don't know because I think a lot of people maybe do have that done, and then they go, "That was way more of a big deal to me than I thought it was." And I'm someone who like. I mean, I get sad when I pull a booger out of my nose because I'm like, this was a part of me, or like I lose a piece of hair and I'm like, this was on my head for like, I don't know. I just feel like it's a part of me. Not that I want to keep it, but like I get sad like a scab. Like the other day I shaved, like I have this like scalpel that I cut down my calluses on my feet with. And even that I was like looking at this callus and I was like, oh my God, this has been through so much with me. Like this was on my foot when I sang the national anthem. This was on my foot when I did the Masked Singer. This was on my foot. Like this was building up. This is like been through a lot.
Part of you.
And I got sad.
We should hang those on
Not
the wall
sad, but
behind
like
you.
a little bit whimsical. What was that, Noah?
We should hang them on the wall behind you.
Oh God!
I'm not gonna tell you what I do.
Do you have like jars of like your fingernails, or you're like
no.
you're like
fingernails? I kind of am just like get those out of there. But there is a part of me that there. It's a little. There's just like my body worked to make that, and now I'm just tossing it away. So there is something of that, but for whatever reason,
What about when you blow your nose?
Oh no, I'm not sad
Same
about that.
thing.
And I was joking about the booger thing. I don't feel bad about boogers. Teeth, I miss my teeth. I really wish the doctor wouldn't take an 8 out of my fucking face because now when I smile wide, I have big gaps here. I'm thinking about getting my smile widened.
Wait, he took what out of your
8
face?
teeth. It was a fad back in St. Louis in the 90s where they took out too many teeth. And there's this other guy that has it too, Lewis Howes. He's a very famous influencer. Lewis Howes is also from St. Louis, and he had the same thing. He just recently had to get veneers.
Let me
because
see how far your
the
teeth go back.
orthodontist.
They go farther back than mine.
I have less teeth than Andrew, and Andrew has no teeth.
Do you have 32 teeth?
I think I have like 21 teeth or something. Like it's like a really low number. But back
that's
in the
uneven.
90s,
That's an uneven number.
well,
too.
I've just made up a number, but
They're usually
just
even.
one of my teeth be able to drink in their number. So yeah, but anyway,
When do we get to talk about the Masked Singer?
yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, Nikki. What
The
about
Masked
that?
Singer. I was on that show, everyone.
I watched it last night. I watched all the episodes. I watched all the episodes
Yeah,
you were
the
on.
episodes are
I
long.
loved you talking about Bob Saget and break. That was so sincere and so sweet. That was really beautiful. I thought that was really nice.
But
of
it's
you.
total
The whole
giveaway.
story there was that. What was that, Noah?
But a total giveaway. Like if anyone had their doubts of who it was,
Exactly.
I mean,
That
it
was
was
like-
like they kept doing things that I'm like, and then they wouldn't let me sing a Taylor Swift song because they're like, that'll be too. I don't even know why they didn't let me do a Taylor Swift song. I fought for it so
Unbelievable.
fucking
I'm
hard,
sure.
everyone. Like,
so you couldn't
it,
choose.
it
The
felt like I
songs?
betrayed myself not singing one.
Yeah.
They've done them before on the show, and I tried to get them to do "Babe" by like other songs that she's written for other artists, so it wouldn't have to be. We don't have to pay her publisher or whatever it was. And they still wouldn't let me do those songs. Like "Better Man," I tried to get to do that song. I tried to do "Babe." I tried to do just anything. I was like, I will do that Midnight Rain song that's like, she wanted it comfortable, I wanted that pain. Like, it's not even her voice. Like, I would have done anything. It was before Midnights came out. So I taped it in July, August. So it was before my surgery. It was the reason I got my surgery. So, I talked about getting my vocal cord surgery and how the person who talked me into doing it was my vocal teacher. And I knew that you guys assumed that was probably the one that I'd been going to before. But what you didn't know, it was a new one that I met on the show. So I lied by omission, but I didn't quite lie because it was my vocal teacher who said I should get it. And that's how it happened. But on the Masked Singer, I discovered that I had hemorrhaging on my cords. And so I sang with broken cords. But it still did pretty good. I had to take every song down 18 octaves, but it still worked. And then the show ended. But it was some questions that came through were, did I get to keep the costume? No. I don't know why, but they didn't let me keep any part of it. I did keep the bra from it. My boobs boobs were also masked on the show.
Your boobs are great.
They were. I should show you the bra. I felt it the other day. It's an inch thick of padding.
Oh
an
my
inch
God! What?
Thick.
Because it's
like bulletproof.
Needed that.
Yeah. Yeah. I wear it around Arlo in case he gets stabby. And then
how heavy was your costume?
It was so heavy. It was the guy who was like operating because there was like lights inside the mask and they had to like rig it every single time I put it on. The guy that made it and was like an engineer on the costumes said that my mask was the heaviest mask that he had dealt with. So I don't know how long he had been on the show, but he was like, this is by far the heaviest mask. It was so heavy. It was probably, I'm guessing, 12 pounds or 15 pounds, something like that. And then the actual snowflake, which was a backpack that I wore, it had like these little prongs coming off it, and then it would latch on like a backpack over my shoulders. That was at least 35 pounds, at least. And the wingspan of that was beyond my own wingspan. So it was like I was constantly bumping into things. And also inside my mask, I couldn't see anything. It was really hard to see. I kind of just had to go by lights, like bright lights. And like,
God, you couldn't see through the eyes?
Not really, no. Because sometimes they would have the lyrics up on the thing and I go, that's worthless to me. There's no way I could ever see that.
Oh my God, you didn't even have backup lyrics up there.
No. And that's why I messed up some of the lyrics. You can definitely hear I messed up some of the lyrics. But
didn't notice.
But the best part about the mask is that first of all, no one knows it's you, and so you don't have to have this like, oh my God, I feel so stupid singing. Like people are gonna judge me. That's all gone. Totally. It's so fun to be in like. You can be anyone you want to be.
That's what I was going to ask.
Tom Cruise.
If it was so cool to just be singing and not feel like how you look or anything. Just
nothing.
To be nothing.
I didn't have makeup on. It was the only time on TV I went on with, like, when I was unmasked, they knew that when you get unmasked, behind the scenes information here, you get unmasked. They know you're eliminated, and then they take you back. It makes it look like it doesn't. It just is all in one swoop, where it's like, take it off. So they shout, take it off, take it off.
And that's weird.
And then you act like you're struggling with it, and then they usher you backstage, and then you get hair and makeup, and then they put you back out there, and they go, take it off, and then you take it off, and you have full hair and makeup.
Yeah.
But before that, you were like a sweaty mess, and I'm in a little skull cap to protect my hair from all the stuff inside, and I have a big dent on my forehead from part of the thing. Like it was a big but the coolest part about the costume was that inside you're like, it's almost like it felt like I'm in a cryogenic chamber or something, or it felt like when you meditate and you're like looking for yourself, like who is there a person inside you that's operating things, or are you just like consciousness or whatever? I don't know. It got me but it felt like I was something inside. It felt like the thing that is the illusion that
you're
you
like the Wizard of Oz or something.
Like a deprivation tank where you're just like, you just get to focus on
sensory deprivation. Yeah. I was alone in there. So I could sing as if I was alone.
Yeah.
And when you don't have, but usually we have that all the time. You can always kind of pretend to be that, where it's like you're alone in you. And we all have that illusion that we're inside ourselves, like controlling things, when really there's no free will and you can't control anything. And it's kind of all just happening, and it's hard to figure that out, but it's true. But we all have that illusion of we're like operating our ands and our thoughts and our things, but we actually have but this was the first time I felt like I really was, and I could be alone in there, and just like I was kind of like singing in the shower, or I was underneath my covers or something. Like you were alone with yourself, so I could kind of talk to myself and be like I was it felt very lonely in there, but in like a good way.
Yeah. Could you hear yourself breathe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And you sang with a real microphone, like you put it up to your mouth. You weren't like mic'd inside it. which I was surprised by.
But don't they have a cover on your mouth?
Yeah, it was around my chin.
Oh, that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, it would go.
I wonder.
And mine kept slipping off because I would open my mouth too wide, and then they would be like, cover it up, because they didn't want to tell you your skin tone. Like, they don't want to see anything.
Yeah.
So when you're backstage at the show, my parents came to the show.
Yeah.
And if you saw some of the pictures, we're all wearing these hoodies that say "Don't talk to me," which is what they put you in. So when I first got to the Masked Singer, I pull up on the lot in my black car, and this guy cracks open the door and is like, "Hey, Snowstorm." And they called me Snowstorm. There was no Nikki. No one ever calls you Nikki within the show. Yeah. Except from the first meeting, they go, "Hi, Nikki. We're picking out your character," and then you're that character.
That's what I was going to ask. So you didn't pick Ice Storm?
They presented it to me, and I was like,
Snowstorm,
I love it. Like, they were like, if you don't like it, it's fine. I was like, I thought they were going to pick, like, the shaved beaver or something. Yeah. I thought they were going to do some kind of, like, gross joke. I was going to be something, like, gross.
You had the best costume.
The best.
Best.
It was like, awesome. I got to be a princess.
Yeah.
A snow princess. And so I did, though, from the very get-go, it was like, it had a skirt with it. It had this big, heavy blouse thing. It had this long, like, flowy skirt. And I was like, let's do total spandex and just the head and then the snowflake. We don't need, let's, like, make it pretty sexy. Like, let's make her, like, because I got to lean into that, because I got to do whatever I want. And then I was like, let's pick out a huge bra that makes it look like I have Dolly Parton boobs.
So that was your idea.
Yeah, because I don't want anyone to be able to, like,
guess.
Yeah, so I gained 20 pounds to really throw people off. No, I didn't do that, but I did actually do that. But it wasn't to throw people off. It just was naturally happened that way. But so when we get to the studio, this guy greets you and he throws you in a duffel bag, and he's like, "So put on all these things." And I'm in the car and it's 100 degrees outside, and I have to put on sweatpants and then socks, and then put on my shoes and make sure all my skin's covered up. This long sweatshirt that says "Don't talk to me." Zip it up, put the hood over my head, pull my hair back, put on this gigantic visor that covers my entire face.
Darth
I looked
Vader kind of visor.
Daft Punk style.
Yeah.
And then you walk out, and then you walk around the lot, and there's only two people. There's like 3 people in the show who know it's you. Yeah. And the rest of the people, there's hundreds of people working on the show, and you're just walking by, and everyone's just like, and it says "Don't talk to me," because no one can talk. You can't, they don't want to know your voice. They don't want anyone, because it's so top secret. So there's only besides the executives, there's only 3 people that you really work with, and you just get shuttled from one place to the next, and you have to get dressed. So I would go in for my voice lesson. I could take it off and, like, relax, and then I'd have to put it back on so I could go to the bathroom. Then I'd have to take it off. So it really is an isolating show where you don't get to tell anyone you're doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I told Noah and Andrew because it was just, conflicting with schedules, and I knew that they would keep it a secret. And then I told my parents and my boyfriend, but beyond that, like, no one.
The Masked Singer is like anyone. The metaverse. It's like literally like you get to be in a world where people are like, I don't know. That's wild. That
and you don't get
I
to
didn't know
promote
it was
it
that
at all.
serious.
It's the biggest show I've ever been on, arguably. The biggest platform that I've ever been on, and I didn't get to talk about it until my face came off. It was kind of nice.
Well, usually we brag about everything before.
I know my parents were just like, we can't tell anyone. I'm like, you can tell people that it's a show you like to watch and that this season's particularly good.
There was the hardest, and then I was getting grief. Like, you didn't tell me Nikki was on the. I'm like, we signed NDAs.
Yeah.
We couldn't say anything.
And what happens if you did? If you
could be sued. If they found out that if it got exposed.
I would never think it was that
serious. They go to such extremes to keep it quiet and a secret. We even got dressed in the black outfits.
Yeah, my parents even got "Don't talk to me" hoodies, and my dad was like, They got to keep it. My dad goes, "I don't want this. It makes me antisocial." I'm like, "I'll keep it. I love that
too.
I want to wear them on planes."
Yeah,
it is kind of aggressive, but it's but I couldn't wear that after the show. I wanted to wear it after the show because I was I had to get vocal cord surgery, and I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." But they were like, "No, that's associated with." Some people know that's the show. Yeah. So, but a lot of besties wrote to me being like, "I know you're Snowstorm. You're great. Congratulations." But I could not. I couldn't write back to it. I couldn't confirm it. I couldn't deny it. I couldn't do any. I would just go to a couple of people. I'd go, "Oh, I'd have to check it out. I'll see." Yeah, because that wasn't a lie. I did have to check it out. Yeah. Or I'd say I haven't seen it yet because I hadn't seen it.
That had to feel pretty cool that fans were like, "That's Nick." That people knew.
People knew.
Yeah.
There was one person, I believe it was Karen Sanchez. Karen knew. She's a bestie who lives in Des Moines. She knew from the joke that they played on the preview where I was like, "I don't want to stand too close to you, Nick, because I don't want to get pregnant."
That was my favorite.
She knew that was me. She goes, "I knew it was you from that."
Yeah. A lot of besties messaged like, "Oh my God, Nikki is on The Masked Singer." And they cited that joke as the proof.
Yeah.
Yes, that means so much to me that like
they know
my
your
cadence
humor.
They know your style. My humor.
Yeah.
You know what was nice though? I was watching the show. And this happens to me often. I totally dumped everything I did on that show out of my brain as soon as it happened. Like, I didn't remember any of the jokes I made. I don't remember anything I said. Like, I remember the songs I sang, but any of the interactions, like, none of it was planned. Like, I didn't plan on saying that to Nick. I didn't plan. Like, it was just, I was just rolling with it. But then when I was watching it back, every single time I would go, oh my God, I wish I would have made this joke. And then I would make it. And I was like, oh, it's so funny. Like, I am the same person I am there. Like, any joke that, like,
it
there was
just
so many
rattled
times,
off your tongue.
Every single time when, Jenny goes, oh, one of the clues is a doormat. And I was like, well, that's because I get treated like that in relationships a lot or whatever. Like, I thought of that and I go, oh, you should have said that. And then I said it. And I was like, oh, I forgot I even said that.
Yeah.
So it was nice that I stood up to my own potential.
Expectations.
Expectations.
Wait, do you think Nick thought it was funny?
Final thought. Do I think Nick Cannon thought it was funny that I kept making fun of all of his babies?
Yeah.
I don't think that he didn't think it was funny. I think he was just like, oh,
isn't
she
he a
got
comedian
jokes.
too?
She got jokes. Yes, he is a comedian with like quotes around it. But yeah, he does comedy, like Wild and Out.
Yeah.
He started that. I mean, he's great. I mean, he's a talented guy. I don't necessarily agree with like making as many kids as possible with as many different mothers, and I know people are like, he's gonna be a good dad, but it's like he can't be in all of those places at once.
You cannot be a good
He can give
dad.
them money, but he's not gonna be giving him his self.
It's so gross.
How many kids does he have?
I think it's 15 at this point.
Oh my God! No, I heard he.
I'm not even joking you.
He
When I made that
wear
joke on the show,
protection because he loves to make love to a woman naturally.
yeah, because it
He
feels
said that
better.
on Stern or
Everyone
something.
feels that way about condoms.
What a lazy
It feels
ass.
better.
Just wear a condom.
Well, no. Now it's become like a numbers thing. I made that joke when he had only 11 kids, and since then it's gone up to 15. I'm not kidding you. It was 11 or 12 when that happened, when the show happened.
And he's had 4 since the summer?
Yeah, but four
different
on the way.
women, or-
Now there's a 15th on the way, I think is the last number.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that guy is a cannon. That's crazy.
is
Just
a
shooting it off.
cannon.
That's crazy.
Well, Bobbie, where can people find your special, your comedy special?
You can find it. It's free on YouTube under Helium Studios. It's called Fast Food Fireworks. Please check it out.
Why is it called Fast Food Fireworks?
Because of one of the jokes in there. I talk about fast food fireworks is like whenever you are done eating your food in bed, which is my favorite place to eat, and all the crumbs and trash and ketchup packets that are on you fling them into the ceiling fan and they go around.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
It's just fun. I like
That's
the
really
alliteration, and because I do a joke about like being called like a lady firefighter or whatever, and this guy's like, you should call it lady firefighter, and I was like, I don't think that sounds good.
Yeah,
and picking a title for something, I don't even have
'Cause
like
you were
title
a
for my
firefighter.
jokes. Yeah. And I did that, and I was like, but then I started thinking of titles, and like even when I think of jokes, like it doesn't have like an official title. So all of a sudden he's like, what do you want your special to be called? I'm like, I don't. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird
never
thing
know.
picking it.
It's so hard.
There's so many little things that when you start comedy, you're like, I just want to be funny, and then
job's
all
just
the
so
other
hard.
things, you're like, I don't know. It's not. No.
I
It's
just
the
love that
best.
we're like, it's so hard.
It's so hard to
picking a
pick
name.
I'm famous just talking about it.
I just want to name my next special like whatever I would name like a child, like
Dwayne.
Sheila.
Yeah.
Like whatever I would have named my baby. Because everyone has 3 kids, but I have 3 specials, hour-long specials. And I was like, oh, that's kind of like the same thing. It's about as much work goes into making them, about 9 months of just kind of walking around like, oh.
Yeah.
And like being in pain. Yeah, being uncomfortable. And
Clothes
your
aren't
boobs
fitting.
hurting. Yeah, clothes aren't fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to buy new
I have to
clothes.
go shopping.
Yeah, that's it. You get fucked.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so you have a special out. You also, you and I played guitar during the pandemic once. We both are just like picking up and trying to be like.
Yeah.
So you sing and you could do open mics, right?
Yeah, I've done a couple open
Like
mics.
music open mics.
Yeah, and it makes me so like the last time I did it, my leg it was like my first time doing stand up. Like my leg was shaking, and I haven't been that nervous in forever. It was so I like it though. Like I hate when people are like, I just want to do stand up, and I'm like, then do it, and they're like, it makes me too. I'm like, just show yourself that you can do it. Like you do so much. I don't even have room
When
to talk.
people say they're nervous.
Yeah, when they say that they're nervous, they're like, I just can't do it. I'm like, well, just try. Just go up and try. And they're like, I just couldn't get over my nerves. And I go, you could. If you just have to do it.
Yes.
But some people are like,
you
I
just
truly
have to set
can't do
the
it.
date.
Yeah.
And then you can always bail and you'll feel bad or whatever, but at least setting the date, that's always been my secret to overcoming everything. I used to have terrible stage fright, but I just signed up for a play that I could not get out of. I didn't even know you could get out of things back in 7th grade when I signed up for a play. I didn't know you could bail on everything in life. So it felt like, I just have to do this. And so it's like, and nerves have never killed anyone.
No, and I like.
You're not going to die of
that.
that.
It could, it could.
Just
It
from,
could
like, your
give you a
heartbeat.
heart attack.
It's not going to.
Not like that. Not from doing. You're not gonna go on stage for doing stand up.
Then why are you having sex? Why do you go for a run? Like it's the same amount of.
Good. I almost had a heart attack when I did it.
When you did stand up?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my mom did stand up one time.
I'm so mad I didn't get to see that.
I did
I'm
it.
so
Were you so
mad.
nervous?
Oh, I was really nervous, but I don't even remember like doing it. It's that kind of thing. It's
adrenaline makes you kind of black out.
Yeah, but I got through it. Now I just wanted to do something out of my comfort zone.
Yes,
for
and
my
I think it really
60th
did
birthday.
help you a lot overcome so much stuff. Now you
Yeah,
do this podcast.
actually.
You used to be like so nervous about doing the podcast or being on TV.
Not nervous anymore.
Not nervous at all.
You're
I should
natural,
be
Julie.
I probably
Yeah.
should be nervous. I mean,
Yeah, I wanted you to get some of those nerves back.
I
Step
should.
it up a little bit.
Yeah,
no,
I'd be stepping
No,
it
I
up.
love that you are not nervous anymore. It's nerves are you can't help them, but they do go away.
Yeah.
If people have nerves about stuff out there, like I always think about sex. I'm always like, I was so nervous to have sex. So wasn't everyone nervous? And then you have it, and then you're like, my mom doesn't. You probably never got used to it, but you don't care for it that much. But you eventually are just like, oh, this is the easiest thing to do in the world. Like anything is going to be difficult at first, but
it's always rewarding though too.
But
like
you write your
playing
own
music.
songs?
Yes, I do. I write my own songs. Like I went through a breakup, and it's weird how much like pours out of you because people are like, "Do you write funny songs?" And I'm like, no. Like all of them are like depressing or sad, but it's fun. It's like another side of me. Like I get to be funny on stage,
Yeah.
and then writing music.
I still haven't been able to do that,
We
though.
should. I would love to sit down and you can look at my juvenile songs and be like, these are terrible. But at least it'll like give us both confidence to like try it more. Because here's what I'm bad about. I can't sing and play guitar. Like I try. Like I'm gonna.
That's hard.
It's so. I
So
try.
hard.
You mean
so
just like
hard.
doing it at the same time?
Doing it
Yeah.
at the same time is so hard. But I also, even when I just sing, I can't do it well. So doing it at the same time, like when we played together, you're like, go ahead and try. And I was like, all right, Nikki said it and I'll do it. And after I did, I remember even like going home and I was like, she probably really hated that. Like I get so
I don't even
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like in your mind, you blow it up. So
Yes.
singing to me is the scariest thing in the world.
Well,
I don't know why.
it's embarrassing. You're like howling from your head. Like
Yeah.
you're like crying. I mean,
Yeah.
like, because it's like, is it because you don't think you're a good singer or because it's just too emotionally vulnerable?
No, I'll be emotionally vulnerable. That's not a problem. But it's hard for me to like try to sing and then like try to hit the notes and then it's like you miss them and then just sing.
go to
Let's try it
a
again.
voice teacher. You can learn how to sing.
I should. I mean, I went to a guitar teacher. I should go to a vocal
but this is
coach.
the thing. People think that, and I used to think this way too. You think your voice is just your voice, and that you either
Yeah.
got it or you don't. Why does everything else we take lessons for,
I
but
don't
your
know, you're
voice,
right.
people are like, you're either a singer or you're not.
Yeah.
You can learn how to use it.
You're-
I've
and-
improved
yeah.
so much just from simple instruction, learning how to
Yeah.
breathe differently, learning how to just position my body, and I still have so much more to learn. Like I still listen to my voice, and I'm like, God, because you hear good singers, and I know they're doing something different with their mouth and with their
Yeah.
breathing and with their diaphragm. I have
Yes.
all the same components in my body.
Yeah.
I have healthy cords. Now there's nothing holding me back except I'm not using my instrument the same way.
Right.
We all have the same instrument. And then, there's some people that are like truly tone deaf. But if you
Yeah.
are not tone deaf, you have an instrument you can learn how to use
You're
much
right.
better.
And I'll practice more. I do want to practice more because I play guitar. I've gotten during the pandemic, I got monumentally better at
Yeah.
guitar. And that's fun. To express yourself with something beyond yourself is so fun.
But doing it
Performing
together
for me is the
that's
only way I get good at anything.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like I don't like to practice alone. I need to like show it immediately to someone.
Yeah.
And so practicing on my Instagram live. Shout out to everyone who watches those. The
I watched it.
besties.
Dude, that clean version you did, I love
so
that
nice.
version of you. I literally went and listened to Taylor Swift's version. I was like, I like this, but I liked your acoustic version
wow.
so
That was the first
much.
time I had played it too, so that's really nice.
Yeah.
I love going. It's my favorite thing to do besides the podcast is going on Instagram Live and playing
Yeah.
guitar poorly and singing a little bit better than that. And it's just like it's made me get so good because some people sometimes tune in and are like, whoa, she's gotten a lot better. I'm like, all I've done is this.
Yeah.
This is it. But when you are expected to perform and
Yes.
when there's people watching, the same when I go to Starbucks to write,
Yeah.
there's people around me and I feel like I have to look like a writer.
Yes.
If I'm writing in my apartment, I'm going to get distracted. I need to perform.
Yeah.
It makes me, even sex. I pull up the curtains. I like, maybe someone will be watching this.
maybe someone will tune in from across the street.
I swear to God, it would probably make me a better in any way if I thought maybe there was someone like that had a hidden camera or something. If I just like was scared that maybe there was a hidden camera, I might perform better.
Have you ever watched a video of yourself having sex?
No.
I have, and it's immediately you're like, oh. It's like that episode of You're kind of like, huh, like for a second you're like, this will be cool, and then later you're like, you and the person are like, let's burn our phones.
I have to say, one time I did say there was someone that took some footage and they showed it to me, and I did not want to see it. I would have been like, no, I don't want to see it, but he showed it to me like, hey, look at this, and I thought it was someone else, and I was like, holy shit, that's really hot. Who is that? And it was me. And I was like,
yeah,
okay.
I'm working it.
I was like, because I would never, I know that's not going to be something I want to see.
Yeah.
But I can't even watch my stand-up. So this is nothing new to me. Anything I'm good at, I don't want to watch. So sex is no different. Okay, Mom's here. Gotta go. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. Bobby Jaycox, thank you for being on. You can watch him open for me on the road. Dates coming up next weekend in Waterloo, Hershey, Pennsylvania, and Atlantic City. I got Memphis this Friday. Tell your friends that live in Memphis. It would mean so much to me. As always, meet and greets are free if you go alone to the show, and they're always for purchase at the merch booth too, or with a VIP ticket. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you next week. Don't be cut and jackpot.